To be awake is to know that you are really in this world. To be awake is to know that you have a very high potential in this world. To be awake is to know that we all serve a purpose. We all have a greater purpose. Some of us were meant to be rich. Some of us were meant to be something else, maybe the best of the best workers, right? But but being in that sense, being able to fulfill our potential in all that, in all those regards, right? And so in this video, we'll be trying to talk about that. These are the things that I just found along the way, and I thought it was right that I shared with you guys, especially my Gen Z people or the other people who still have a had who have not acclimatized to how adulting is, right? Because we're all trying to figure each and everything out ourselves. But I'm here to tell you that you're not alone. I'm here with you, and hopefully you'll learn a thing or two. And just a disclaimer: I am not a guru in any way, shape, or form. I'm just a young kid, a young boy, a man from Africa who's trying to make things work for me, who's trying to make things work for himself. So if that is you, man, yo, welcome, man. So, with that said, let's begin. First, I wanna show you guys this video about this guy I watch on TikTok called Here's First One. Forgive me if I've butchered that name, but that guy really brings up very good analogies about life and all that kind of stuff. So let's check that video out. That it's gonna set precedent on what we're going to be talking about today, right? So let's begin.
Yeah. People have a saying, if you're caught peeing by the roadside, keep peeing until you finish. Here's a train of thought. Either way, whether you stop peeing or not, they're going to tell everyone they caught you peeing by the roadside. In other words, once people have made up their mind about you, the damage is already done. There's nothing you're changing or taking back. There are some people who will always have something to say. If you sneeze too loud, they'll say you're seeking attention. If you keep quiet, they'll say you're proud. If you start a business, they'll say you are a dreamer, they'll laugh at you, they'll say you think you're better than everybody. But then if you fail, they'll say they saw it coming all along. At this point, even if you breathe wrong, they will write a thesis about it. People will always narrate your life from their level of understanding. Their judgment isn't about you, it's about their perspective and their angle of view. So if they're already calling you a dreamer or shameless for starting what you're doing, why not finish it? Some of these people didn't chase their own dreams. They cannot stand to see you being the one chasing them. You that they raised, you the small boy that was eating dirt just a few years ago. You're the one that wants to be the president of your country. Are you high on crack? You must live your life with conviction. You can't live your life editing out what people have said or think about you. That is not your job to do. Because once they already pass judgment against you, hesitation is not going to change anything. In Uganda, Bobby Wine went from being a raga star to a presidential candidate. If he stopped halfway, the headlines would say he's a failed musician and a failed politician. He went all the way, and now he has global respect and recognition, and he stands as a beacon for hope of African politics. If they catch you peeing by the roadside, keep peeing until you're finished, because if you rush it, you may even pee on yourself. You can't undo the path that you've chosen to take. You can only own it and see it through to the finish line, because in this world, they'll call you crazy for starting, but then they'll call you a genius when you succeed. Not everyone can see farther into the vision that you have, even if they had a telescope. Because remember, the ones crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that ultimately do. I'll see you in the next train.
That's actually a bar, is it not, ladies and gentlemen? I think it speaks a lot, and there's a lot to unpack from that, right? So this is what I learned from that video personally, and you can tell me in the comments what you learned. Personally, I learned that uh, what I learned from the video is delusion and living life with conviction, and we are going to be unpacking that. So first, we have to know the definitions of these words, right? So I found the meaning of the word delusion according to two dictionary meanings which have two different meanings, one from Britannica and the other from Merriam-Webster. It says that Delusion in psychology is a rigid system of beliefs is a rigid system of beliefs with which a person is preoccupied and to which the person firmly holds, despite the logical absurdity of the beliefs and a lack of supporting evidence. And then Merriam-Webster says that uh, delusion is a persistent false psychotic belief regarding the self or persons or objects outside the self that is maintained despite indisputable evidence to the contrary. Basically, meaning that what these people are trying to say, what this meaning tells me, or what I'm getting from this meaning is that you are crazy, right? Like that guy is saying, people around you, when you are taking this idea, you're telling them this idea in which you strongly believe in. Nah, bro, it ain't it, man. You're trying to do this A's, this B's, this C's, this D's, but they're saying, nah, bro, come on, man. Like, you ain't gonna make it, man. Like, just go and do this, man. Just be like the rest of us, man. Right? So now that we've set base, on this word, and hopefully we have understood, and if you have not, please do tell me in the chat so that I can repeat to you or give further more iterations of what this actually means. So with that said, let us now watch this video from Steve Harvey from Steve Harvey that really a few years back when I was in high school, I didn't quite understand it until I was researching on this topic that it actually made sense at the moment, right? So let's check it out. I pre-recorded it. I pre-recorded that video so that for easier work.
See, in your life, everybody has a turn back moment. You have a moment where you could go forward or you can give up. But the thing you have to keep in mind before you give up is that if you give up, the guarantee is it will never happen. That's the guarantee of quitting, that it will never happen, no way under the sun. The only way the possibility remains that it can happen is if you never give up no matter what. Because God is always coming. He's never too late. At your worst moment, look, man, when they told me I had to be in New York,
Right. That was the video. You can go and check the full video on YouTube, right? You can go and check out the full video on YouTube. Hopefully you guys have understood what that video meant, that yo, in this dream that you have, keep on going harm, keep on going harm. You never know the other side, man. You can be on the brink of uh saying, you know what, man, I tried my best. Like me, I'm trying my best on this YouTube, and then people are gonna be like, hey yo, nah bro, hey yo, I think it's done, man. But I know I serve a bigger purpose. But sometimes you do not know when that next beyond is gonna come, right? So this goes on to this means that the real reason that many of us fail to take the first step is the fear of unknown, also known as anxiety. Because yo, that's how life is, man. Because yo, what do you mean? Tell me that let's say for example you have to go to Dubai and go and see some venture capitalist, and maybe you don't even have the money even to go to Dubai, right? And then you say, you know what, nah, this ain't it. You know what, I'm gonna put my hands up, this ain't for me. But in actuality, it is for you. Sometimes you just have to believe and trust in the process, man. So I found these very interesting articles. After everything, I'm gonna put their links in the description box, or you can go and find it in my more edited, more scripted video, which is on my YouTube channel, right? The writer says that we owe ourselves something better. All these, all these other things we wanted to do, we owe it to ourselves to at least try. Maybe you want to open a surf shop, so go open it, go bankrupt in 3 days. Great, now go back to prison. At least you tried. Didn't you get ever told that as a kid? It doesn't matter if you don't win, as long as you tried your best. In a world of abundance, quitting your job isn't scary. It's only scary because you focus on the negative. You focus on the scarcity. What if you focus on the positive? Instead of visualizing yourself opening a bankrupt surf shop, envision yourself opening a good one. Maybe not even a good one, just an okay one. Might even turn a profit. Then your profit gets bigger and you need to hire employees. Then you hire someone to manage it for a month while you go on holiday. Right? He goes on to say that people often say they're afraid of failure. That's why they stay in the cubicle. But what they're really afraid of is success, man. Oof, that hit deep, man, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna lie, that hit deep, that hits so deep, man. Yeah, yeah. We're afraid of success. Fair enough, man. But that's why they stay in the That's why they stay in the cubicle. The writer goes on to say that our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond our measure. Right? There's nothing to fear out here. At least nothing scarier than the things you already face every day. Stop being afraid. Stop living in scarcity. Because living in scarcity means only ever seeing obstacles. Oh, I have to pay this. Sorry, I shouldn't have read. I shouldn't have read that part, but yeah, that's the part that I really wanted to tell you guys. Basically, meaning this guy is telling us, yo, we have to start, guys. If you had that uh, YouTube channel, you wanted to start that, thing that you wanted to start, just do it, man. Cause who knows, man? Who knows what's on the other side, man? Sometimes you're very afraid of the power that we have, man. Like you're very afraid of that person that you want to become, that overthinker, man, that great inventor, man. Like, yo, I have this crazy idea of maybe putting, like this. I don't know if you guys can see this cup. You can see this cup and just turning it into something else, man, or this mic and making it something else, like that kind of stuff, man. Like we are greater beyond what we see ourselves, man. And when even some right now, when I'm thinking about, like, when they say, like, when you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you see, man? Like, if you think about that, it really is, it's very deep, man. So after this, uh you've done this, you've evaluated yourself, you know what, you're like, yo, I can do this. You'll have this sense of optimism, right? You'll have this level of optimism, because pessimists will come on your path, like your family members, teachers, boss, telling you loads of crap, but that you can't make it, or this or that. But you're that guy. You don't listen to them, because you are a man and a woman who is living with conviction and audacity. As the guy in the first video says, for hers, for what was he? I've forgotten his name, but you know what I'm talking about. So let me first explain what these two words mean, because some of you are like, what the fuck, this is this kid saying? So this perfectly exemplifies them. So I mean, this article, sorry. So this article perfectly exemplifies what living with audacity, living with conviction means, right? It's gonna perfectly, dumb it down, right? This is another writer. He says that both may even be necessary for growth into adulthood, but neither was meant to be a permanent way of life. The more I grow, the more I live the uncomfortable realization that God wants me to step out of the flow, to lay down my reactions, and to live by conviction. Merriam-Webster, the writer, defines conviction as the state of being convinced of error or compelled to admit the truth. A strong persuasion or belief, the state of being convinced or being convinced. Conviction is not based on stimulus, rebellion, or going with the flow. It requires thorough exploration of a matter, concentrated thought, and committed practice. Living by conviction means living in accordance with what I believe to be true, according to what I've been convinced is true, right? In other words, according to Google, it says that living with conviction means guiding your life by firm, deeply held beliefs and principles, acting with integrity even when facing pressure, sacrifice, or popular opposition. It involves aligning actions with core values rather than conforming to trends, resulting in a purposeful, courageous, and authentic existence that resists compromise, man. Yo, back yourself up, man. Like literally, back yourself up. Like you can do this. That's basically what it means, man. Yo, insane, man. Yo, what are you saying, chat, man? Like, what are we saying? W? Alright, man. Anyway, it's so deep, man. I am really passionate about this kind of stuff, man. So you all better subscribe, man. Honestly. So this makes sense. So this makes sense because many tend to live a reactionary a reactionary life, like the writer says. Again, the same writer. Uh, I was born in the strong and comfortable flow of a defaulter's life, as we all are. We are just born into this world, and then you are not put into this system. But he goes on to say that as a child, I simply fell in line with the culture and expectations around me, allowing myself to be carried along. Sometimes the flow caused discomfort, scraping as it did through shallow waters or taking me in over my head. But it is easier to go with the flow than to fight it. Such a life is peaceful. Though it lacks depth, it is a life of tradition, of security and happiness in the world as we find it, of avoiding difficult questions, right? You're just an onlooker. You're just there to be seen, right? You don't want to evaluate what is around you. That is what I'm understanding. Please do tell me what you're understanding from what the writer is saying, right? Please do tell me in the comments or in the chat. Many seem to stay in the default streams of their lives. Others break away, often in the teenage years, and begin to live in reaction. I did this I did this too for a while. I thought about life according to which pushed against me. I never rebelled against God or my parents, but I made decisions and set standards by responding to triggers and emotional hot buttons. Reactionary living can feel very good, as most of us know, we feel alive when we live this way, but ultimately it is just as shallow as default living. As a reactionary, if life stops pushing me, I stop responding. My passion does not live apart from its impetus. Okay, now here is where things now started getting deeper for me because I was like, what does that actually mean? What does impetus mean? What does my passion does not live from its impetus mean? Is it impetus? I don't know. But English is not my first language, but I hopefully we are all learning together. So this I found a very interesting meaning. I found that this actually is very deep. It says that this means that your passion cannot exist on its own. It is inseparable from the force that drives it. In other words, what you desire is born from what moves you. So this implies that your passion isn't random or self-contained. It comes directly from a deeper push, pain, conviction, belief, anger, love, purpose, or calling. So when you remove the impetus, the force, the zeal, you know what? The passion dies, man. And I have to agree with that, man. So hopefully you understood. I'm gonna just give a brief 10-second pause if you guys to tell me if we have understood what I am talking about. Just tell me in the chat W or L or just something, or even put a dot and I'll we'll go on from there. Just drink some water. Okay. So now that we have some set of understanding about what conviction is, what does audacity mean? Well, I'm not gonna read any more of what I'm reading right now. We have to again go to the guy, who the first guy here to first one. Why am I still forgetting his name? He talks about living with audacity, right? And it's right that I shared it with you guys.
Your boy must be bigger than your brains. Here's a train of thought. I've done business in Africa for at least 15 years now, from Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Ghana, Nigeria, Rwanda, South Africa, you name it. And I've noticed one thing across board. The smartest people are not usually the ones that succeed, or at least the ones that succeed fast. It is the people that are audacious. It is the people with huge titanium balls. Let me give you 4 examples of people that I truly admire for their audacity. Number 1, Tenny Makanaki. When Tenny broke out, the Nigerian music scene was all about shaking yash, spending money, going out to party, and of course sex appeal was everything. You had to be a diva to make it. She came out at a time when you had Tiwa Savage, Yemi Alade, you know the drill. And yet she said, I don't care, I'm gonna sing about what has meaning to me, and I'm gonna be unapologetically who I am. She wasn't a sex symbol, she wasn't selling that. Her biggest song at the moment wasn't even a love or party song, it was Uyomeyo, a very spiritual song. I absolutely love that song to this date. And then you have Denrele. He is weird, he is eccentric, he is quirky, he is energetic, and sometimes very loud. But yet, he came up at a time where being an MC in Africa meant pretending to be bourgeois and flamboyant, and you had to wear a suit, and you had to look. This dude came out with purple-colored hair and dressing like a woman and wearing high heels. It was strange, and people really came at him for that. But my God, the man is unapologetically audacious, and as a result, he is one of Africa's most revered and respected MCs. And then you have Hilda Bassi, who, of all things she would have chosen, she decided to cook. She said, I'm gonna be the best bloody cook Nigeria has ever seen. Not only am I gonna cook the longest in the world, I'm also gonna cook the biggest pot of jollof the world has ever seen. I don't even know how she gets these crazy ideas, but guess what? She has 2 world records to show for it. It takes audacity. Cooking is cooking. You don't have to be a genius to know how to cook, but it takes a lot of audacity to be the first to cook a certain thing a certain way in the whole world. And then you have Bob Risky. It's in the name, Bob Risky. His or her entire life has been a risk, and yet he and or she said, I'm gonna change my sex, I'm gonna become a woman, in a country that is extremely anti all of that. And not only did she say that, she said, I will be very successful at what I'm doing, and I will make your millionaires and senators pay for my lifestyle. And he succeeded at it. Whether you agree with his lifestyle and his choice or not, he genuinely succeeded at what he does. And that's kind of my whole point. In whatever you're doing, on the African continent especially, don't run out of audacity. There is corruption everywhere. Resources are unstable. If you wait for things to make sense because you're leading with your wisdom and not audacity, you're gonna die waiting. Your brains may refine your path, but it's your courage that is going to get you walking on that path in the first place. I'll see you on the next train.
Okay, not gonna lie, this guy has some gems, man. This guy has some true gems, man, and yo, y'all should go and check out his TikTok, man. Right? You can see that his tag is right there, right? So now that we've had some direction of what this is, right? Let us now get back to business. So according to Google, I have to also find my meaning. It says that living with audacity means that having the fearless confidence to pursue goals, ask for what you desire, and take initiative without being fully qualified or having guarantees, as the others, as per the examples, right? As per Bob Risky, as per Temi, as what? As per like Aisho Speed, Kai Senat, as per maybe even you who is trying to do that thing, me here, KSI, like who else, man? Like many people, man, they did their thing even though they are not qualified, man. Right? Then this meaning goes on to say that it involves replacing hesitation with action, embracing risks to create a thick, rich life, and believing you belong in rooms you have not entered, man. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, guys. Like, how many people, like these people that we are talking about, man, some of them they're not even qualified for like they have not read maybe about mass communication or all that kind of stuff, but you're seeing these people maybe becoming news presenters, becoming such and such. Some people never went to design school, like fashion school, and they became one of the biggest designers. I believe, is it Chanel or something? One of those luxury brands. Like he was poor kid, and then out of nowhere he just followed his thought. He was living with conviction, with audacity, and he made his dream become a reality, and that brand is still existing until to date, man. Right? Fact check me if it is not Chanel, but it is one of those luxury brands, man. Like that is just part of the example, right? So I found this other brilliant writer with this brilliant writer who wrote this article with the heading living in audacity, the power of radical consequence. It asked that, what if every word you spoke became a promise you couldn't break? Imagine a life with no room for excuses, no wiggle room between intention and action, just raw unapologetic follow through, right? It goes on to ask that, what will happen if people acted with full consequence? If they did exactly what they said they would? What if words were always followed by actions? What if there were no gaps between intentions and real outcomes? Man, 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 man. Isn't that all of us, ladies and gentlemen? Hmm? Deep, man, deep, man, deep, man. Right? This, again, imagine, and I hope this makes sense to all of us. If not, please do tell me in the chat below. But yo, this is deep, man. So this again, I found that it goes hand in hand with what the Bible is trying to say. As you guys know, I told you guys that in my previous video that the Bible is not. I do not take the Bible anymore like this Christian thing, this dogmatic thing. I don't know if that makes sense. I just take it as a way of life, right? And as per what the writer was saying, goes in hand with the Bible, because in the book of Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23 to 25, one sec, I'm just opening up my Bible. It says that, one sec, one sec, 24, okay. So Proverbs chapter 4, chapter 4, 20. Yeah, so it says that here, this, ladies and gentlemen, this is from the Bible, right? Right? It says that, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Put away from thee a froward mouth, and perverse lips put far from thee. Let thine eye look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee. Ponder thy path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established. I don't know if you guys want me also to read in the Good News Bible, because this is the King James Version, right? Basically, this means that, let me just bring up the King James Version, because this one, I mean the Good News translation, because this one is a bit complex, right? One sec. You'll tell me what's up in the chat, man. What are you learning before when I bring up the verses? Are we all having a good time? Are we all learning? Okay, here it's Proverbs chapter 4 verse. Okay. This is actually the best translation, Good News translation. Be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. Never say anything that is not true. Have nothing to do with lies and misleading words. Look straight ahead with honest confidence. Don't hang your head in shame. Plan carefully what you do, and whatever you do will turn out right, man. living with conviction, ladies and gentlemen. It's telling us that, yo, Wagwan, yo, it's all here. It's all here. What I'm seeing, what all of these things are telling me is that it's all in the mental, man. If you can tell, you can reshape, rewire your mental to know it, to tell it, you know what, yo, you can do anything, man. Then, yo, it's gonna be, manifesting those things that they say, this manifesting stuff. I feel like it's true to some degree, man. Come on, man. Am I the only person who's having the zeal for this? Because it makes sense, doesn't it, man? Look straight ahead with honest confidence. Do not hang your head in shame. Do not hang your head in, oh, I cannot do this. Oh, da, da. Nah, bro. Plan carefully what to do, and whatever you do will turn out right. This isn't the Bible. Anyway, I digress. I digress, guys. I'm just having a little fun. Just think about it, man. Then, so the writer goes on to say that, I lived without excuses, lies, doubts, hidden agendas, or feel good white lies. I wasted no time pondering, hesitating, or planning for things that will never happen. I felt only the freedom to act, liberated from insecurity and fear. There was no room for them. It cleared away all the fakeness in my life. I lived with a clean slate. What surprised me the most was how this brought out the most creative and intense version of my life. When the question is no longer how, you stop wasting energy on self doubt and second guessing. All your willpower and strength are focused on one thing, getting it done. Oof. Right? He goes on to say that optimism became an automatic response to challenge, and my relationships and my relation what is it and my relationships grew in depth and truth. I lost friends who weren't real and grew closer to those who truly mattered. I discovered there's no true creativity without consequence. Creativity without action is just random ideas. Creativity without responsibility is daydreaming. If you want to create something meaningful, you have to follow through and own it. I felt free, but I was fully responsible for every thought, for every word, and every action. In case you wonder, no, no, leave that out, right? It goes on to say that less money wasted on empty plans. Uh, he says that acting with consequence has a positive impact. He goes on to say that acting with consequence has a positive impact on social well-being and economic productivity. Less money wasted on empty plans, less need for managing and scheming, fewer bureaucratic roadblocks, learning happens faster, problems get solved quicker, and stagnation fades. Imagine what we could achieve together, even if we're not convinced by the argument for personal freedom and radical creativity. There's undeniable value in acting with consequence for all of us. And ladies and gentlemen, that is Audacity living with you. For all those who have come back, I was just talking about Audacity. You can just go back a few moments in the back and check it out for yourself, right? So it is, it is fascinating how a word can have such a deep meaning when expounded, and honestly and truly, it has spoken to me, and hopefully it has spoken to you as well, because as Seneca says, life is long if you know how to use it. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Even before finishing up, there's this video by Myron Golden. I urge you guys to go and listen to his teachings because they are very profound, they are very intellectually appeasing, and they speak very deep about life, about manhood, about womanhood, about what to he goes on to ask about existential questions like who am I, what have I come to do in this world, all that kind of stuff, man. And I just wanted to share with you guys a snippet of what a video that the introduction, what it spoke to me, right? Let's just check it out. Okay, let's check him out.
Let's go into the message.
Humans don't want to die because deep in their hearts they know that they have not finished what they were born to start. That's why they don't want to die. When a person have discovered their purpose and have fulfilled their destiny, they welcome death. Death never threatens a human who discovers their purpose. The Apostle Paul, for example, was not afraid to die. As a matter of fact, the Apostle Paul died willfully.
Okay. This basically, from watching that, I've understood one thing, man. Yo, before you go out of this world, man, before your soul gets out of that body, you should not be living by regret. You should not be living, or your soul should not be saying, you know what, I wish I had done so and so. That is what that part talked to me, man. I'm like, yo, man, for the limited time we have here, man, because you know, Myron Golden says that we are not even Myron Golden. It is fact that we have like a limited time, like at most we have 75 years, man. And what are we gonna do with that 75 years? And most of it, like even not even 75, from 1 to like 18, 20 or something, you'll be, you know, doing school and that kind of stuff. For the rest of it, man, like wagwan, man. Like that's basically what I am understanding from that, man. But yo, it's deep in it. From what have you all learned from that, man? So I have to conclude the video, right? And guys, I'm not even like trying to tell anyone in any way, shape, or form that quitting your job is the ideal solution, because you know we live in a world that values security, and each and everyone to each their own, right? But if that security places you in a position where you're deeply unhappy, the real question becomes, what can you do? You know, with that within what can you do within that constraint to introduce meaning or happiness into your life, right? And so in conclusion, I leave you with these deep words. The reason you are being chosen by the universe for the job, if the universe didn't think you could do it, you wouldn't have felt excited and thrilled. The fact you have the idea shows the universe has picked you. Ideas and dreams don't knock on everyone's door. They go to the minds of those who are best fit for the particular work. I'm gonna finish up with this video by Lecrae, and it's just a parting gift for you guys.
I have here an apple.
Parting gift for you guys. Here it is. Let's watch it and finish up.
I have here an apple. Fun fact: I don't eat apples. Never have. Don't like them. My kids do. And if I was to cut this apple open, I could count how many seeds are in this apple. I can visibly see it. Also, fun fact: I have no idea how many apples are in the seed. Only God does. I know how many seeds are in the apple, but God knows how many apples are in a seed. A lot of times, y'all, we quit. We give up because we only are going off of what we can visibly see, what we can count. Meanwhile, God is saying, I know how many apples are in the seed. Plant the seed. Trust me. Don't quit. Work with intensity. Work with passion. Work with intentionality. Keep watering the seed, because you don't know how much fruit is in the seed that you've planted, that you're watering, that you're invested in. Keep going.
And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for watching. I did not expect that I will have, you know, high number of people coming out and watching my stream and watching me talk. It's been I've always wanted to do this, and it is right that it is right that I executed this. Thank you for all who tuned in. Tell me what you've learned in the comments. And with that said, love your mom. Stay curious. I'm now going to be streaming on my other channel called TKM is Live. TKM is live. That is where I'll be streaming just more relaxed content, not more philosophical content, just funny, being more of me. Though this is me, but the other side of me. And that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.